It's the start of the new year. That means you have the opportunity to reset yourself if so need be mentally. Maybe this year you want to start writing that great novel. Maybe the idea of a whole novel is just too much, man. You look at a whole book and you're just like, "Man." Well, I say set your goals to what you believe is achievable and then some, man. Maybe writing a whole novel is very off-putting. Maybe you set your goal at you write a chapter, man. You get that one chapter out and you go from there. Or maybe the chapter's too much for you. Maybe your goal is to write a page, and maybe a page is too much for you. Maybe your goal is to write a couple paragraphs or a paragraph. And you go from there, man. If you say to yourself, I'm going to write 10 novels this year, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, man. Unless you have this rapid pace, non-stop working kind of mentality, man, where you do nothing but just work and work and work for that, by the end of the year or by the end of however long you want to set your goal for, if you feel like you've come up short of writing all 10 of those novels, let's say you only wrote 9 of those novels, you're going to feel like you didn't achieve what you want to achieve. So that's why you go for one novel, or you go for one page, or one paragraph, or hell, man, one sentence. You get that one sentence out, maybe it's too much for you. Maybe you get the characters out. Maybe you want to be a great screenwriter, but the idea of writing a whole screenplay is just insane to you. So maybe you get one sequence out, you get one character, you get one piece of dialogue out, and you build from there, man. Set your goals at your own pace, man. It's a new year, man. This is your time, man. When you get to the end of December of 2023 and you ask yourself, did I achieve what I intended to this year? Or what efforts did I make to work towards that goal, that lifelong dream, that dream that gets you up out of bed every morning, gets you to your job, gets you money so that you can work towards that? You know? What is that going to be? What kind of progress do you think you're going to make? Set yourself up for realistic goals, man, and then work from there. The guy who wants to run a marathon, you think he could just do that overnight, man? You think he did that just by running once and then going, all right, I can do that? You crazy, man? You gotta be kidding me. That guy, he worked and he said, I'm gonna run maybe a mile today. All right, maybe a mile's too much. I'm gonna run down the street. All right, I can run down the street. Let me go a little bit further and further. Oh man, look at that! I'm at a mile. All right, maybe I'll run 2 miles. I can't do 2 miles. I'll keep at 1 mile. All right, you build up. Oh man, 2 miles. That's no problem. Two, three, four. That builds and builds and builds, and oh my gosh, next thing you know, he's in a marathon. He's halfway through, and he can do it, man. He's having his difficulties, man. It can be tiring, but when he gets to that finish line, he can look back and go, "Damn, man, I really did that. I really worked towards that." Set yourself up, man. 2023, look at the year as a way for you to achieve whatever it is you want to, man, in your artistic endeavors. I know I have been. I say start the year out with your feet on the ground running, and let me tell you, man, ain't no slacking so far this week, I tell you. Plenty of films have been watched, plenty of reading has been done, and plenty of writing has been done. We're not going to slack, man, because anything can happen to us at any time in the world. All that matters is that while you're here, you're doing what you want to do, and you're not wasting your time with pointless nonsense that doesn't get anyone anywhere. You sit around with people who have no ambitions, who have no goals in life, who their only goal is to make it to Friday or whatever their day off is. Their only goal is to drink beer and watch TV, watch some sitcom, and then go to bed. You meet people like that all the time, man. They have these people who have no hobbies outside of work. They have no passions. What did you want to do when you were a kid? Oh, I wanted to work in a factory. Well, if that's the case, man, Godspeed to you. I hope you enjoy that job. But a lot of those people, you think they're talking about when they were kids, I want to work in a factory. I want to sit at a desk all day. I don't know, man. They probably had dreams at one point that at some point they just gave up on, or they made no efforts to continue on. You gonna be like that, man? You gonna sit around and have no passions, no goals, have nothing to achieve for? You go home from work and you got nothing to look forward to besides a case of beer and whatever's on TV. No, you don't even watch anything that's fulfilling. You watch something banal. You watch something completely intellectually devoid. Nah, man, if you want to do that, go for it. It's your life, man. You do whatever the hell you want to do as long as you ain't hurting yourself or anybody else. But I tell you, man, I'm far over any of that nonsense. Far over just, hey, man, you want to hang out? All right, what are we gonna do? I don't know. You don't know, man. What the hell are you talking about? What are we gonna do? What, you want to? Let's go eat. Let's go talk about nothing. Hey, the weather, yeah, it's cold out today, man. Oh, yeah, it is cold out. Oh, great. Oh, wow, I'm really glad I wasted my time I could have been doing something else with, talking about the damn weather, man. It's insane. 2023 is for you, man. You do what you have to. Cut out all the nonsense and work towards it so at the end of the year, or whenever you set your period for your goal at the end of the week, end of the month, you can look back and go, you know what, man, we did it. This was my time, and I did it. This is episode 41 of the Cozy Corner of Cinema. This is being recorded on on January 7th, 2023 at 10:37 a.m. We're going to talk about films here. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about things you need to get done. We've already done some of that, so let's talk about the films, man. I said before, I've already watched plenty this year. Already a solid double-digit amount in just 7 days. And there's gonna be more watched today after I record this. Man, I tell you, there was a film that's been on my mind for the past couple of days. A film I watched on Mubi, a service I've mentioned a bunch before that you owe it to yourself as a film fan, as somebody who appreciates art, to get yourself this streaming service, man. You find so many great films on there, so many new films, so many films that you're not familiar with. You go, oh, what the hell is that? I want to see that film, man. There's a film I watched this week that has been really kicking around in my head, and it's really been a great way to start the year off. You know, a total gem that you see a film like this and you go, you know what, man, this is it. This is what it's all about. This is the dream. A film from 2014. It's called Something Anything, and I had this on my watch list, and I did not know what it was. I write a lot of films down. There are films I go back to. I say, I don't even know what this is. How the hell did I come across this, man? But I thought, you know what? It fits into my time slot. I have only X amount of time. X an hour and 28 minutes, so it's perfect. Let's get this film out. This is written and directed by Paul Harrell. This stars Ashley Shelton as a character Peggy. She's living as a real estate agent with her fiance. I think it was her fiance. I'm trying to remember, actually, if they were married or it was her fiance. Apologies in advance. She's feeling unfulfilled in her life. She's gone through a recent tragedy, and this has kind of put things into perspective for her. Because the people around her, what I was saying before, the people around her, they just want to sit around and do nothing. She's dragged to a dinner she doesn't want to go to. Her partner that she's with is saying, well, we'll only go for a little bit, and then, you know, a little bit turns into a while, and something bad happens, man. So she has to reevaluate her life and her situation. And what she comes to is a new way of seeing her life, a new way away from all of the pointless conversations, away from anything intellectually void, or devoid, I should say. She wants to do something more meaningful to her. And I'm not a spiritual guy. I don't really know much about that stuff, but it's an appropriate word to use, where she wants something spiritually fulfilling in her life. She's a loner, man. Or let me put it this way: she's not a loner. I'm gonna take that back. She's somebody who seemingly is alone amongst all these people, amongst people who want her to live her life in a certain way that meets their criteria, that meets their social conformities. And she's not having that. She is her own woman and wants to do what she wants to do. And this was a film that I think if you described it to me, I don't know how on board I would be. Because you get a lot of films, I believe, from the early 2000s. And this is not a mumblecore film. I definitely do not want to put that there, but there are a lot of mumblecore films that have ideas of characters going through these self journeys where they want something different in their life, or they're just living through life, not really doing much. It's a problem that I have with a lot of mumblecore films, is a lot of them don't there's a line between a slice of life film and a film that seems aimless. And there's a lot of mumblecore films that come across that. And I want to say this is not a mumblecore film, but this is a film that could have easily fallen into those trappings. And that's not to say I don't like mumblecore films. I actually do like quite a bit of them, but a lot of those I walk away unfulfilled. Actually, there was one I watched. It's not even mumblecore, but one I wanted to mention recently that I watched was a film called, I think it was Cold Weather. I look up Cold Weather and it gives me the weather for today. Yes, Cold Weather from 2010, directed by this guy Aaron Katz, who has a handful of films out. Cold Weather is a film I liked quite a bit. I watched that on, I think I watched that on Plex for free. Very interesting film. Another film that I liked quite a bit. But what I was saying with Something Anything is that I think a big part of it, when it comes to the journey of this character, first off, you have a great charismatic lead. I'm not familiar with this actor, Ashley Shelton. I looked at her IMDb, and she hadn't been in anything that I had been familiar with. She's one of these actors who you watch, and you wonder why the hell she is not a bigger star, which is a completely idiotic statement to say. But let me say it like this. When I say bigger star, I don't mean you're in some Hollywood junk or you're just on billboards and magazines. I'm talking about an actor like this who is so charismatic and is so good in her performance. I wonder, and when I say a gem, it's truly like, wow, man, this film is a gem and this actor is a gem, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of their work, man. As well as another actor in the film who, gosh, you know what? I do not know his name because IMDb does not have a picture of him, and I do not remember his character's name. But she basically comes along with a guy who basically became a monk and came back to society. He is living his life in a very peaceful way. He hangs out, he reads, he's a very smart guy, he's very intellectual. He has his friends in a band. And she sees something in him that she wants for her own life, man. And let me put it this way. A lot of what I'm describing, with the wrong script and the wrong actors, can be very banal. That's what I'm saying before with some of the mumblecore stuff, is that if you describe this film to me, I would go, this does not seem like a film that, let me put it this way. It seems like it could be a good film, but I've seen many examples of films trying to be like this that end up not doing much for me, regardless if I like them or not. But this film, the warm energy it emanates, the character interactions with each other, the performances, even the husband, or the fiance, I don't remember, Bryce Johnson, who is good in the film as well. He's a character who's a jerk, but he's played very realistically, and he's very manipulative, where there's a point where you think that he could be all right again, and then you see that, nah, man, this guy is doing his own thing that doesn't involve this chick, man. It's a film that I've just been thinking a lot about. It's a film, some of the actions the character takes, getting a new job that financially is a downgrade, but is more fulfilling to her. Leading her own life, man. You know, I tell you, the other day, I had to do some work in a library, and I was walking through, and I thought of the film, and I thought, wow, man, the silence, the interior design, all this great literature around me, man. I truly am in a state of nirvana that cannot be matched. I've said it before, do yourself a favor, man. Go to a library, get a book, get a film. Do yourself a favor, man. There ain't nothing in this world like a library, man. I tell you. It is a place of pure bliss that we take for granted. And I know I did when I was younger. When I was younger, I'm like, I ain't reading books, man. What the hell is that all about? And you get older and you realize that you need books. You need art. You need films, man. You need this kind of art in your life to help you with your life, man. To help you form your own opinions, man. Not just with watching a film or reading a book and go, I like this, I like that. Nah, man, something more. You watch a film like this, you watch a film like Something Anything, and you go, wow, man, this is just something else. This is really sticking with me. This is something that I'm going to be thinking about for a while, more so than just a good film. You watch a good film, and you know, there's plenty of good films out there. You watch a good film and you forget about it. It doesn't do anything for it. It doesn't stick with you. So that's why the whole nonsense of, I said before, of rating films, I just think is totally, and I'm guilty of it. I'm a total hypocrite when it comes to that. But I see like my rating on this film online, and yeah, there's films I've rated before, and I mean, there's films I've not after. I was gonna say after, but there's films I've rated higher, but I don't get as much out of them as I do this film. So would this film be a 10 out of 10 for me? Well, maybe. I don't know, man. You gotta give it time, man. Films stick with you. If you ask me an opinion immediately after I see a film, I'm gonna tell you something different. Hell, man, I think I mentioned on the show before that film After Sun. I walked out of the cinema and I was like, that's all right, it was good. And it sat with me for a month, and I was like, man, I can't get this film out of my head. And now I love the film. I can't wait to rewatch it. It's a phenomenal film. And, I gave it one rating when I came out, and now I give it a different rating. You gotta let films and you gotta let art, you gotta let that sit with you, man. I could never be a critic of any sort. I don't see myself as one. I just see myself as somebody who wants to pass along good films and good literature, good music, Music especially, music is such a personal thing, like any kind of art, that there's music I listen to at first, I'm like, I don't know what this is all about, and come back to it months and months later, or years, and you go, oh man, that's great. I feel something really special. I feel the hairs on my arm stand, you know? It's something special. That's why I say, get yourself a movie. Hell, man, you can look at this episode as an ad for movie. You know what, man? Sure, why not? Unpaid ad, go for it. You're going to be getting nothing but great films on there, man. Let me rephrase. You're going to get a lot of great films. You ain't going to get nothing. That's impossible. Of course, there's going to be some duds on there. But this film I loved. This was such a phenomenal start to the year, and really just set itself up for going on out, for here on out, man. A total great discovery that none of the people I follow on Letterboxd have logged it. So I hope if you're listening to this and you have Mubi, or maybe you have a way to buy the film or rent it or support the filmmaker, then do yourself a favor, check this film out. Check out films that maybe you wouldn't normally come across, maybe you normally wouldn't see. I mean, I say before, if you describe the plot to me, I don't know if I probably wouldn't have seen it. And you know what? You should. Go for it, man. I'm saying I probably shouldn't see it, but I know I should see it because I'm going to find something. I'm going to like something. I'm going to go, wow, I never would have seen this film, man. You kidding me? You know how many films I've come across that I initially had no interest in that I watched and I'm like, wow, man, that really was special. That was something else. Something Anything 2014. It's on Mubi at the time of recording this. Speaking of Mubi, I've also started to watch Lars Von Trier's The Kingdom. And I've said before, I don't watch any TV, any miniseries, none of that nonsense, but nothing against it. I'd rather spend my time watching films if I have the opportunity to. But this was a Mubi exclusive that Lars Von Trier came back to do The Kingdom Exodus, which is, I guess, season 3, if you even want to call it seasons. But they're 4 episodes each. About an hour each, so you get 4 hours per. And I've watched part 1, and it was terrific. It was absolutely terrific. I've just seen the first episode of part 2. It's got a lot of the qualities I love in Von Trier, a lot of the way that he shoots. There's a lot of humor in the show. There's plenty of moments that made me laugh out loud. There's a great bit in the second part where a character is trying to get another character to drink a cup of coffee and the problems that he has along the way. It's very funny. There's a whole great gag involving something in a wall at the end of part 1 that is very funny and comes back. And the way that it ends, man, it's completely wild. I also love how at the end of every episode, Von Trier, he comes out to kind of, as sort of like to tell you about, what's going to happen next, and who knows, maybe this plot didn't work out for this character, but will it work out for them in the next episode, or the next time? Well, if you choose to rejoin the kingdom or come back, you're going to find out, man. It's fantastic. I've mentioned before in the 2018 episode, if you've listened to that episode or not, that on that list, The House That Jack Built was in my top 10, because I just feel like Von Trier is just one of the most interesting artists working, and one of the most interesting filmmakers working as well. And I'm very excited to watch The Kingdom Exodus. Now, I'm very slow when it comes to these miniseries and all that. It took me a couple of days to go through the first part. And same with the second part. I started it a couple days ago, and I have not followed up since. But that's okay, man. In a way, it helps you kind of appreciate it more. People talk about they binge shows and stuff, and to each their own. I think art should be interpreted differently, or people. Let me rephrase it. People interpret art differently. They're gonna see things the wrong way, read books a certain way, or look at paintings, or watch films, and that's okay. So people who want to binge a whole show and watch all 8, 9, 10 episodes in one sitting, that is their prerogative, and they're going to get something out of it that the guy who, spaced out over a couple weeks is going to. Even, I was talking recently, an acquaintance of mine is he's seeing Satan Tango and Decalogue and another film, I can't remember the name of, in cinemas, and Satan Tango is a film that I watched in 3 sittings, because it's a very long film, and with Decalogue as well, I've only watched up to the 3rd part. I've seen the first 3 parts, I should say. It's very long. And the way that you interpret it, you're going to feel different if you sat down and watched all Satan Tango in one sitting, or you're like me and broke it up. Now, I had a very special experience watching that film. When it was over, I felt something that I would have felt differently if I had seen it theatrically or seen it in one sitting. That is very cool to see a film like that theatrically, I would imagine. So I'm looking forward to talking about that with the acquaintance of him. But like I was saying before, a lot to get done this year. We're going to do it one day at a time. We're going to come across film. We're going to, it's a great moment right now because we're going to see the whole year ahead of us. And in that time, we're not going to be the same person that we are now in 12 months or 11 months. Maybe we're going to be the exact same person, and we wouldn't have learned anything and wouldn't have watched any great films or read any great books or heard any great music. But I'm going to take a wild guess and say that's very, very unlikely. In fact, I know it's unlikely for me. I have already seen so many great films this year. This week has been completely filled with art, and it's just been a total joy. I have only seen maybe one film this year that I can't even say I didn't like. I just wasn't crazy about. And that's great, man. I mean, I've watched, at the time of recording this, I've watched 27 films this week. And there's more to be watched today. And out of that, only one I wasn't crazy about. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty damn good. So, what are we going to do from here on out? Well, we're going to take control of our own life. We're going to do what we want to do. And we're going to have a good time doing it, man. That's the whole point. That's the whole goal. People talk about New Year's resolutions and they never follow through with it. They join a gym and then they go once or twice or 3 times and they go, always next year. People say, I'm not going to do it today. I'll do it tomorrow. Even something simple. I'm going to get an oil change. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. Do it next month. Oh, my car crapped out. What happened? Oh, man, you get your oil changed? No, I was going to do it soon. Man, I can't help you with that, man. You all the signs are there. I've been guilty of it too, man. I'm a total hypocrite when it comes to that. I got to do something important, and I just put it off, and then when something bad happens, I go, damn, man, I don't know what the hell happened. Now I know what happened, man. You kidding me? So, big takeaway from this episode, Something Anything on Mubi, The Kingdom on Mubi. Shit, man. You can't go wrong with Mubi, man. You're going to find some great stuff on there. With that said, hope you all have a fantastic day, or a fantastic weekend, or week whenever you're listening to this, or maybe you're listening to this in the future, and 2023 is long gone. Well, I hope you made the most of your time, man. And if you haven't, maybe you'll change that. It's your life, man. Do what you want to do with it. All right, guys. I'll see you next week.